Welcome to Rank Rhino, where you can learn it all. Today, we'll be going through the top 10 movies and shows that are based on video games. Video game adaptations have been around for a few decades now, and while they used to have a reputation for turning out mediocre at best, we've gotten some incredible shows and movies that were inspired by a video game in the past decade or so. Some of the post-2010 video game adaptations have turned out as must-watches that feature great storytelling and memorable characters. For this list, we chose the ones we believe stand out the most. Number 10. Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's time to push buttons.
Your flying eggs are pretty impressive, Mr. Eggman, but let's...
Fans weren't too happy when the first images of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie were released, with them heavily pressuring the producers to change Sonic look into something closer to the character we grew up with. To the credit of the people behind the movie, they did listen to the fans. The result was a charming adventure film that didn't take any unnecessary risks, and as such, was received fairly well by the audience.
I was wrong about you. You're not the Donut Lord at all. You're more like the Jerk Lord.
The success of the movie led to a sequel being made and several other iconic Sonic characters getting introduced as a result. Both movies were praised for the visual effects, Jim Carrey's crazy performance as Dr. Robotnik, and entertaining sequences. And while the movies did have some differences compared to the games, they're still regarded as quality pieces of Sonic-related content. Number 9. DOTA, Dragon's Blood.
Still have that whiskey? We should celebrate.
I suppose I do, and I suppose...
Although MOBAs might not be the type of game you'd expect to get a TV show, DOTA Dragon's Blood is actually a pretty good show. Based on Dota 2, it follows the story of the renowned Dragon Knight, Davian, who's based on the in-game character of the same class. Davian has to use his power of the dragon to destroy demons and prevent them from wreaking havoc.
Clever enough to expunge your own name from it, to make yourself...
While the show does include a few of the in-game classes you can play, it's not a full adaptation of Dota, and the producers have taken some creative liberties. The storyline does take a lot from the game, with it having a dark vibe, plenty of gruesome action scenes, and some pretty intense visuals. And while Dragon's Blood has a ton of action and fighting, there are also many humorous moments that bring a sense of balance. Number 8. Halo.
Are you even listening? I count 3 anti-aircraft cannons. 3 what?
While initial reviews of the live-action Halo series were mixed, the show is definitely a decent option if you're interested in a good video game adaptation. While fans and critics weren't too happy with it straying from the source material and making changes to the story, it's still a fairly solid sci-fi action show that you'll get a lot of entertainment out of.
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Thanks for the tank. He never gets me anything.
Halo follows the war between the United Nations Space Command, led by Master Chief, and the Covenant, an alien alliance that wants to destroy humanity. It's full of shooting sequences, explosions, and unique moments, something that we've come to expect from anything related to Halo. The show is also confirmed to have a second season, showing that it has a future as its own thing, separate from the video games. Number 7. The Witcher.
Fuck. You're bound to this child, whether you like it or not. I'm getting out of here.
While The Witcher is technically based on the novels, the franchise does have 3 amazing video games to its name. Netflix The Witcher isn't the most faithful video game adaptation out there, with there being a lot of changes to the characters and the story, and a fair bit of controversy, but it's definitely an entertaining series. Henry Cavill was a perfect casting choice for the portrayal of Geralt, and the actors that play Yennefer, Ciri, and Jaskier do a fantastic job of playing some of the most iconic characters in the books. The show's season 2 has been the standout so far, with many critics praising it for the engaging story. At the same time, fans of the games and books have rejected the Netflix series due to the changes the show's writers have made. Things haven't been made easier by Henry Cavill's departure either. Regardless, season 3 and 4 have already been confirmed, so only time will tell how the show will end up. Number 6. The Cuphead Show.
That's for you, Jimmy. And you know what for.
Cuphead is a funny one. It's a show based on a game from the 2010s that's based on 1930s classic animation. The game is really fun, with it having dynamic challenging combat, But what really made it great was the memorable art style, with the producers creating the graphics via hand-drawn animation. This stylistic choice made it stand out in a sea of games trying to be as realistic as possible.
Wait! I remember how the joke goes! Two cannibals are hanging out.
Netflix's adaptation of the game strays away from most of the shooting and action, and the animation is computer-generated, but that doesn't damage the show's vibe. The Cuphead Show has the same zany, retro aesthetic that makes it stand out even in the streaming platform's catalog. It's a quirky show that sometimes feels a bit odd, but that's what makes it so charming. Number 5. Castlevania.
A bad workman always blames his vampires.
Castlevania is one of the most underrated and iconic video games of all time, but at this point the animated series might be even more popular. Considering there are plenty of narrative-driven video games nowadays, it was a little surprising to see Netflix focus on adapting Castlevania a few years ago. The decision paid off though, with all 4 seasons of Castlevania receiving critical acclaim from critics and viewers alike.
There are worse things. You could be outside someone else's castle with a stake up your...
While the Castlevania game doesn't have a lot of story in it, it does have a specific dark and gory vibe that the show fully embraces. The writers used that vibe to develop an exciting narrative that's brought to life by some of the best written characters you can see in any animated show. The main characters, Trevor, Alucard and Sypha, the supporting cast, and even the show's main antagonists all elevate the series and make it into a top-notch watch. Number 4. The Last of Us.
So this is who Robert screwed us over with? The Che Guevara of Boston?
Honestly, it might be a bit early to include The Last of Us in this type of list, but judging by the first few episodes, this is gonna be a classic. HBO's writers really outdid themselves with this one, with them not only staying true to the story of the game, but also improving upon it whenever needed. The cinematography is also fantastic, with the post-apocalyptic infected-ridden landscape giving you an eerie sense of how humanity's collapse might look like.
Books, medicine, machine parts. We can help each other and get that gun out of it.
The best thing is that Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are near-perfect casting choices, with them fitting the roles of Joel and Ellie to a T. So far, they've given us nothing short of spectacular acting performances that give life to 2 beloved video game characters who are trying to survive a destroyed world. We also can't forget to mention how amazing the infected look in the show. Number 3. Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Cyberpunk Edgerunners is one of the standout animes of 2022, with it receiving universal acclaim for its steampunk-inspired visuals, multi-layered story, and relatable characters. The show isn't a like-for-like adaptation of the game, instead being a prequel set a year before Cyberpunk 2077's events and follows David Martinez, a young man who loses everything in a drive-by shootout and becomes a black market mercenary.
Morning. So, how you feeling?
I'm gonna hurl.
Outside of the distinct visuals and fantastic character development, Cyberpunk Edgerunners also features a ton of Easter eggs and nods to 2077 that fans of the game will appreciate. The frantic pace of the show sequences combined with the episode's length of just 20 minutes makes it a fantastic choice for a breathtaking binge watch. Number 2. Arcane. Okay, yet another animated game adaptation made by Netflix on this list, and I doubt anyone can argue with this one. Arcane is loosely based on League of Legends, with it being set in the sister cities Piltover and Zaun. It follows the lives of the characters Vi and Jinx, them being on opposing sides of an escalating conflict between the rich elite of Piltover and the oppressed slums of Zaun.
Welcome to the lanes. You almost got me killed. My little sister could do that when she was 7.
Arcane is one of the highest rated animated shows of all time. What makes it so amazing is that you don't need to have played League of Legends to get engaged, it's just that good. The story is immersive and creative, the visuals are gorgeous and distinct, and the voice cast is full of top-tier character actors. And if a complex storyline that focuses on classism isn't enough for you, the musical score features Pusha T, J.I.D., Denzel Curry, and Sting among others. Number 1. Pokémon.
Pikachu, get inside. I know you're afraid of...
The Pokémon anime basically started as a marketing tool to help sell the games, but over 25 years later, it's grown into something much bigger. I don't think there's a single person below the age of 50 who doesn't know who Ash Ketchum and Pikachu are. We all know what the story is about. Ash and his friends battle through gyms so that they can enter the local league and potentially become champions. At the same time, they have to deal with Team Rocket trying to steal their Pokémon. The show follows this plot for over 1,100 episodes and it still remains amazing.
Wake up, everybody!
What's up, Brock?
Ash and Pikachu have evolved throughout the hundreds of episodes and they've met and traveled with a variety of characters, meeting and beating legendary Pokémon throughout the way. The show never fails to evoke a waterfall of emotions in its viewers, with most of us feeling a genuine sense of nostalgia for the characters we've known and loved for decades. Thank you for watching, guys. Do you have a favorite video game you wish would get an animated or live action adaptation? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more factoids and lists related to pop culture. Thank you again and see you next time.